All right, it is loud. It is 7:08, so let's go ahead and get started. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you guys all for coming tonight. First on our agenda is an academic highlight from Tiger Paw.
Okay, can you hear me? Am I on? Okay. So first of all, I want to say what an honor it is to have you guys here at Tiger Paw right now. To be in this space is pretty incredible. We were able to start feeding students yesterday, and I've told so many people this story, but we had a little guy who was like, Dr. Dawson, I really like it in here. I think we should keep this. I was like, I think that's a really great idea. So they have generalized the skills that we've learned in the other space, and they have just rocked it the past 2 days. And it's been really incredible to have fresh food here, cooked right on site. And so I just want to say we are so thankful and appreciate the opportunity to add to this to our school to start. So I've got some friends here with me today. This is Miss Nora Chalice, Benjamin Hewlett, Brooks Wallace, and Miss Emily. Can you wave? So they are here to support me up here. They don't want to talk. Okay. Our academic highlight is going to talk about kindergarten readiness. So really that is truly our focus at Tiger Paw, to get kids ready to be the most successful they can in kindergarten. And so a couple of years ago, we sat down with our whole faculty and looked at the Missouri Early Learning Standards to determine what is our priority with teaching kids to get them ready for kindergarten. We met with our kindergarten teachers and asked them, what are the most important skills whenever you think about a child that's ready to come and be successful to start their academic career? And it really helped guide us on how we approach teaching and learning with our students. And so we have a video today to show you in person a little bit about what that looks like at Tiger Paw and to give you some insight on what we focus on beyond just what you initially think of whenever you think of preschool.
We are so excited to show you how Tiger Paw Early Healthy Center gets our students ready for kindergarten. When you think of preschool, you probably think about learning letters, the numbers, the colors, and the shapes, along with the very important skills that we do target. Today we wanted to take the opportunity to highlight some of the skills we work with students to help them get the most ready to be successful in kindergarten.
I hear a flower, trees, and I climb trees. What does kindergarten readiness do for our students to be able to follow the things independently? That can look like them being able to follow their unpacking routine in the morning, or to them being able to transition from one location to another, as well as them being able to find materials in the classroom to follow staying in circles. You're on your bottom, you're thinking about the board with your eyes, you're ready to learn. Okay? Do you remember on Tuesday we talked about the parts of the plant that we use? I can plant and listen to music. If students can't focus, they can't learn. That's why we at Tiger Paw, we focus on being able to sustain attention in a group setting so that they can learn concepts within a private group.
Okay, we're going to put your choose our zone so you can tell us how you're feeling today. Colton. John, how do you feel? We're going in yellow zone. How about you, Austin?
I can tell you how I feel.
So here at Tiger Paw, we talk a lot about emotional regulation.
guys ready for kindergarten? So we just appreciate the opportunity to kind of highlight a little bit of the things that we're doing to help them get ready for kindergarten, to lay the foundation to be ready for learning. And so we hope that you guys gain something from that and invite you to come at any time to view it in person. So thank you very much.
Next, we would have request for, but we don't have any, so we'll go on to the next one is new business. Up first is change orders, and I believe that's Dr. Chesick.
Set up, it's easier to come over here and see everybody's faces. So we have 4 change orders. We'll talk about the great news in just a second, but 2 of those are real simple. There are 2 parts that are coming out of contingency. One is when we look at the scoreboard, we had a meeting with Yancey Little and several scoreboard companies. We had built the building and designed the building around a scoreboard. And the conversation was, what if we have enough money for a digital scoreboard, a digital board? So we brought some companies in, and when they looked at it, they said we need more power. So even if we if we decide to go with the standard scoreboard, at some point in our time, that scoreboard will be outdated and they'll want to have a video board in there. So there's no better time to run power than right now. So we just went ahead and added that as well. And then the other is in the multi-purpose facility, the plywood runs up the side to protect the insulation. There's not a way to fasten it at the top. It wasn't, as PCI looked at it, they said they need to add some J-hooks, and that's what that addition is. But it comes out of the contingency. It's not an addition to the total amount. In fact, as you look through them, change order for the storm shelter, cafeteria, and kitchen, here as we look at it, there is a reduction in the gross maximum price, the GMP, of $335,000. Likewise, on the middle school, there's a deduct to the gross maximum price of $520,000. The high school projects are still going on, so there's less deduct in some areas. And that is the storm shelter, there's a deduct for $41,500. And then we're asking for a deduct to the gross maximum price of the indoor activity center for $503,500 for a total of $1.4 million, reduction to the gross maximum price. So that is a reduction to the contract. My recommendation would be to approve the change orders as presented.
Is that the same reduction that we discussed last month where we were going to switch them? This is an additional.
This is additional.
Reduction.
So it's additional, but let me be transparent in how that looks. So last month, we reduced the contract at the high school because of the dirt work and rock. We moved that to the middle school to cover the new entryway. When we did that, there was a lump sum of, here's the rock, we moved that over. We didn't need all of that. So that is part of the $520,000 that's coming out of the middle school. So that's why that number's a little bit higher, because we already transferred some over there.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
I guess I would entertain a motion on this.
I'll make a motion to make a loud noise to annoy people. I'll make a motion to approve the change orders as presented.
I'll second. I'll just add a great job to Curtis for not only the reduction of 1.4 million, but also including what I think was part of the long-range plan for the scoreboard to add that in there. So great job there.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, take a vote. All those in favor? Oh, that passes unanimously. Okay. I believe you're also presenting the next item, which is the South Elementary roof bids.
Sam, could you go ahead and bring that up, the PowerPoint? It's a PDF. Here you go, top, oh, that's the one. So, there's several new faces to the board, so I'm gonna get a little in the weeds, but not too far in the weeds. When I took this job over, one of the things that I faced that was the biggest challenge was roofs all across the district. We have battled away to fix those. We started with North Elementary. It was actually replaced in 2015, but it was replaced improperly, so there was an insurance claim. So we actually used insurance money to get it replaced at that point. So that was a new roof in 2017. As we went from there, we did several more repairs, but we were constantly coming back and evaluating our roofs. So we're going to show how we got to where we're at in just a minute, but so we had a roof analysis done in 2017 after we did the middle school roof, and that analysis was from Esterly Snyder, and they did their, Tom Lundgren, who is their project manager, their architect for roofs, knows them better than anybody that I've been around. And we did some evaluations, some repairs had to be done. We took care of some of those in-house. Some of those we began to replace. Some of them we just put off until we could get them done completely. But after we knocked out the first 4 roofs, we came back and said, okay, let's do an evaluation. Let's figure out where we're at now because everything doesn't age the same. And we did some repairs, like we coated south, so that moves south a little further down the list than it was originally. So in 2022, according to Coriel Roofing, which looked at the 5 roofs that we asked them to look at, really it was 4, but we split the middle or the south roof off as an independent. They said East Elementary was an F. We replaced that last year. It was an F. South Elementary was a D minus, and if we were to bring a company out now, it would definitely be an F. And honestly, if you've graded papers, you're grading a paper and you're looking at one and you know this is an F, and you think this one is really close to it, so it's a D minus, but when that F goes away, you now have a new standard of what an F is, and South is definitely there. Junior high was replaced in part over time with bond money. I believe about 2012 is when most of it was done, and then we had new construction. We did the middle section, new roof was put on there. So there's a lot of new roof over there, which brings that up. The high school is a C, was a C. We actually replaced about 1/3 of that in 2021. So as we get ready to look at that again, it's going to go up even better. We started replacing, it was 2022 when it was done. So we replaced about 1/3 of that. You have a question, ma'am?
Sorry.
That's okay.
My face, I can't keep my face.
No, you were reaching for the microphone. It's
I'm
okay.
sorry. Well, I was going to be ready when you were done. I don't want to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
But I just wonder, how did you come up with the grades of C? Because if you've been in the high school, you've seen the big trash buckets in the hallway catching water, or you've seen the water running down the hallway for like 2 or 3 years in a row. It was like that.
But those sections were replaced. So that section that I can't hear myself, sorry. Yeah, we replaced, so as you come down from the cafeteria, from the loading dock through to the commons, around the skylight, down the red hallway, down what was the old J. Rotzi hallway, over to the band section, that was all replaced.
When?
2021.
Okay.
Yep. So we know there's more work to do, and this is, so there's trash cans at South right now. I mean,
Right.
So we're working to,
Every building.
I don't know.
Not this year maybe, but last year, every building.
Why, what, can I ask why middle school isn't on here?
So because middle school was redone.
The full thing was redone?
We did the whole thing.
Okay.
When was that?
So jump down. So North Elementary in 2017, middle school was done over 2 years in 2018-19. The Ozark Innovation Center was a complete redo in 2022. and the East Elementary was a complete that's not fair. The shingle roof was a complete redo in 2023, last summer. Go ahead. Okay, so, and additionally, the portion of the high school was a third of that was done in 2021. So this is the battle that we've been fighting, and it's now South's turn to get done. So,
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. You said, like, for example, you said one of the schools, their roof that was replaced a long time ago, maybe it was before your time, I don't know,
Yeah.
of being in charge of it. You said it was an insurance, you said it was replaced improperly. Is that, kind of reminds me of when you said the HVAC has never worked since it was installed. So are these roofs that are being replaced now, are they
yeah.
gonna work? They're all properly done?
So I have, what we do is we don't go, hey, I'm a roofer. I pretend to be a roofer. I don't look at my maintenance guys and go get me a roofer. We contract with Esterly Snyder, who writes up the roof plans, and I'll go back to Tom. Tom makes roofers mad because of his attention to detail and all the different requirements that he puts in place when he designs a roof. So when he designs the roof, he's also the one to inspect the roof. He's the one to do the final walkthrough. He does it while they're working on it. So when we look at South, like the pitch was wrong, the grade was wrong. So there's actually a complete tear off, and when we do the complete tear off, there's a proper degree of declination that will actually cause the water to run off at a better rate. So all of that is engineered from the flashing, from the deck up, is all redesigned by our architects and
And so
engineers.
were they not here back when that other one was done that you said was not done
I don't know
properly?
the answer to that.
Okay,
I don't know. So,
Okay.
but they came on, I started using them in the middle school, and I've used them for every roof since then.
I just wanted to ask, because it's always puzzled me about the HVAC. It's never worked since it was installed. I don't understand, why can we spend taxpayer dollars on money on something that doesn't work? Like, if it was at our house, we would make them come back and fix it, and I understand there were problems with that or something. But then you said that again about this roof, and I was like, how many times are we gonna let that happen? And I'm not trying to give you a hard time, I know it sounds like it,
No,
but,
that's why we get the experts to come in and
Good.
do the engineering. So when you look at the specs, this is the spec manual for what went out to bid. This is what every contractor got and every contractor looked at, as well as they had a complete layout of the roof plan as well, to make sure that they knew what they were bidding, everybody was bidding equal specs, and this is what they'll be held to at the end.
okay.
So, and to your
Thank you.
point, I mean, we have a leak at the OIC right now, and it's a substantial leak. And it started, and we've been complaining, and today, as of today, that's up on the roof again with the architect who had our back. He's not here, this is Tim, but Tom was there, he was there. We had the roofing company, we had the mechanical company, everybody was there, and we have a plan to go forward.
And since that was just repaired a year and a half or 2 years ago, then they're gonna fix that on their own?
Absolutely.
That we don't have to pay for that? Oh, good. That's
Yeah,
the kind of
no,
stuff.
this is, we're still holding them
It ought to
accountable.
be, good,
Yeah,
okay,
it's a 20-year warranty on that roof,
right.
so.
So these ones that were replaced in the 2012 thing, that ought to still be under its warranty, but you said it was done improperly, so.
But that's insurance came in and took care of it.
Okay, okay.
Yep. So, go back one, or I think we covered that. So, and then full replacement. So what we have remaining is 2/3 of the high school. And then we're going to come back and just like we reevaluated in 2022 versus 2017, once we finish this, if the board votes to approve the replacement of South, once that's complete, we're going to come back and we still have the 2/3 of the high school to do. And then we have to reevaluate junior high school, Tiger Paw, and West Elementary. West Elementary was built its construction started in 2007, finished in 2008. So it should be still in good shape, but we want to make sure, we want to get evaluated and have the experts look at it. So, and then if we go down, one slide, please. So we partner with Esterly Snyder, who develops a great set of guidelines, a great set of requirements. These are sent out through advertisement, and then they're also sent out direct email. From that, we had 4 roofers and a manufacturer's rep at our pre-bid and 5 plan holders From those, we've got 3 hard bids, 3 good bids, and those bids are visible there. Relatively close. When you look at those, there's alternates because we never know how they're going to come back. And this is for a complete roof replacement, including awnings, gutterings, and to fix a window that's leaking, but it's part of the flashing process of getting the roof sealed up. That'll be $1,371,045. That is the bid, but as you notice on the other side, there's always an opportunity if they get down in there and they find some deck that needs to be replaced that we'll have to take care of that. But the deck in that was replaced back in the early 2000s or late 90s. So we're confident that the deck is in shape, but there could be additional, and you can see the square footage over there. But the hard bid, the base bid, is $1,371,045. And that would be my recommendation to approve Ridgeline Roofing bid for the amount presented. Yes, ma'am.
Of course, I have a question.
Oh, it's okay.
I noticed there aren't any local roofing companies included in these bids. Did none of the local roofing companies want to make bids? Did they offer any? Did they jump in? How were these select? I heard you say they were selected somewhere, but
They're advertised and they're directly mailed out. They're directly emailed out to companies in the area, Joplin area. So
I'm talking like Springfield or even Ozark.
yeah,
There- I mean,
there's
they're
opportunities, but you got to remember that this is a major
big
roof.
job, yeah.
Yeah. You've got to be bonded to a certain capacity to make sure that you can do this. You have to have the work, and you also have to have the ability to schedule. Our schedule on this is day after school, we're going to start, and then we're going to be done before kids come back.
Oh,
So,
good.
so that makes it hard, and that eliminates
big
some
enough,
people.
yeah.
And also just the specification of using the TPO. There's some roofing companies that will use EPDM. There's some that'll use multi-layer, some will use shingle, and then some just specialize in TPO.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
I guess I would just add, I went there, I think the week after the last board meeting, and it looked like it was going to rain outside, and it was already leaking through. They already had so I mean, it sounds like there's other sections for the high school, and we're probably going to have to get to that, but I mean, it wasn't even raining, and it was already leaking. So if you've been to the south, you know that the trash cans are going out there. So I mean, and with these bids, you're saving $192,000 from the best bid to the middle. So
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you for the recommendation. I would entertain a motion to accept Dr. Cheswick's recommendation.
I'll motion to accept.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. All right, that passes unanimously. All right, next on our list is a graduation update from Dr. Brownfield.
All right, seniors picked up cap and gowns today, so we had a lot of excited faces in the building. After school, start senior week. Tomorrow night's baccalaureate at 7. Sorry, get these times all mixed up. 7 tomorrow night, senior award 6:30 Thursday, and then graduation will be at 7 on Friday night. We'll run you through a little bit of, where to park, how to enter JQH, kind of our roles during the ceremony, and then some FAQs in case families have some questions. All right, you see the JQH and GSB arena, and Hammond Student Center there, the yellow star in the middle. Your 3 main parking lots right outside of GSB or south of Hammond Student Center or up at the parking garage. Next slide will show you how to make your way into the arena. You have lots of options on getting in as board members. If you find yourself between the 2 arenas, you can come into Hammond Student Center directly. That's where our graduates will enter. If you want to see the graduates, that's a great way to get in there. Or if you come into GSB Arena first, we can take you over to Hammond Student Center and see all of the graduate staging over there. So if you find yourself between and you want to come into Hammond Student Center, just look for that volleyball entrance and we'll get you in there. If you park there near the corner of Harrison and John Q. Hammond's Parkway, the lower right-hand picture, that yellow line, that takes you down to that service ramp, and the door and gate will be open down there. And that's really close to where we will stage prior to the ceremony starting. The red X in the upper left-hand corner, that's where we'll stage. So if you find yourself coming into the arena through the main entrance, just make your way to the floor and we'll get you into that corner. And that's where we'll stage. And that's a pretty neat spot to be because as we wait for, for the stage party to head out, all of the graduates walk by and you can see a lot of them, fist bump them, high five them. They're all excited and some are nervous, but it's just neat to see those faces as they come out there. So that is the where we'll stage. We will make sure we're there about 6:45. Graduation starts at 7, doors open at 6. Graduates start arriving to Hammond Student Center at 6. But at 6:45, we'll meet in that corner. If you're there early, we can go out and kind of get a feel for the floor and how you all want to divide up and issue the diplomas. The two yellow arrows there, that are the 2 diploma tables. Half the board and half the stage party will head to those. Don't worry, as we get through graduates and it starts dwindling, we will not run out of diploma covers on that table. That's always like that. Yeah, you see those stacks go lower and lower and you're like, oh man, we're gonna run out. Trust me, I count them at least 10 times myself, and I make Dr. McInich, who's the math whiz, make her count. We will have more than enough there. The graduates will track through the red arrows there, coming from the readers on each side. As you hand them their diploma, that we will have photographers there in front of each table, and they will take the picture of you handing the diploma to the graduates, and then the graduates will proceed back to their seats. And just some, if families ask, doors open to GSB at 6 o'clock. Students arrive at Hammond Student Center at 6. Will be streamed on all of our social media here through the school. And no tickets are needed to attend. We're still holding over from our days at James River when everybody had tickets. That's a big question we still get. No, there's plenty of seats in that arena, so no tickets are required. Students do turn in some of their regalia that they don't purchase as they leave the arena. So we just encourage families, if you want to get pictures, do it beforehand, because when they exit the arena, they may have a few less stoles than they went across the stage with. And Project Grad will be departing from OHS there following the ceremony. So the graduates all come back here, and then I think they're going to the rec center up at Missouri State campus this year, is where Project Grad will be held. Any questions? All right, thank you. I'm sorry? I mean, we meet there about 6:45 in that corner, so 6:30-ish, somewhere in there, because usually everybody likes to kind of go out and get a feel for that table and how you guys want to, hand the diploma covers, because usually there's a couple board members and stage party members who help hand the diploma cover to the one who's getting the picture with the students, and then you guys will just rotate through, and some of you will, just hand out some, and then somebody else will tap in and hand out a few, and then just keep rotating through.
I have a question about are we wearing gowns? Not this, okay. I remember there was a discussion about that, so, okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, next on our agenda is the superintendent update. Do you have anything to share, Lori?
There it goes. Okay, I wanted to quickly share with you a little bit about Senate Bill 727. Okay, there's a lot to this bill, and it has recently passed. The governor did pass it, approve it, and like I said, there's a lot to it. It's a good bill for the most part for public education, but there are also other parts in there that are not great for public education. But for us, I will just go through a few things that will affect us. One of the things that it has in there is a minimum school term. And so a school term says that a school must have at least 169 days of school. Okay? Right, next year we will have 168.5, which counts as 169 days, unless the district has adopted a 4-day school week. And in that case, they have to have at least 142. Now it goes on and it talks about at some point if the school, if it's a charter county or if they have 30,000 inhabitants, from now or when this is enacted going forward, you then have to have a vote of the people to go to a 4-day school week. We are in neither of those, but as an incentive to not go to a 4-day school week, in the fiscal year of 26 and 27, if you are at a 5-day school week, you will receive 1% of your state funding because you are a 5-day school week. So for example, if our state funding was 30 million and we were a 5-day school week, then that year we would get 1%, which is about an extra 300,000. So you would receive that for 2 years, and then in 2028 you'd receive 2%. So there is an incentive there to stay 5 days, but then you really do have to weigh at some point, and this is a conversation for later on, you do really have to weigh that when you have schools that are surrounding you at 4-day week, and with this bill, a school district now can pay a teacher almost the same amount as we make, or that we pay, that what is more beneficial to retaining and keeping teachers, 4-day week potentially, or, you're going to have to look at the economics of it later on to see what you want to do. But it is a good incentive for us to stay a 5-day week if that's what, as we go into the future. They also, like I said, there's a lot. They have an elementary literacy fund, but it is a matching grant. It talked about MOCAP and virtual courses a little bit, but then it also, this was a great piece of the bill. It talks about weighted average daily attendance. Right now we get paid on our daily attendance or average daily attendance from the state, from DESE in the state. So what it is going to switch to is it is going to be in 2026, I believe, it'll be 90% average daily attendance and 10% enrollment. We now are starting to go through the process, or going through issues since COVID, of chronic absenteeism. We have encouraged, and we still do, if you're sick, please stay home. But now there are some that just do not come. And so when we are being paid as a school district, as a state, on daily attendance, average daily attendance, and we have chronic absenteeism, we lose funding. So the government recognized that. And so in the next few years, it will go from 90% of average daily attendance and 10% based on enrollment, eventually towards a 50-50. 50% attendance and 50% enrollment. So that's something also that, as we're looking at budget in the next few years, how does all that change play into effect? It did change early education programs just a little to the good. Right now, if you have a preschool and you have a class, you can have 4%. You can use 4% of your free and reduced population and receive ADA on those students. Okay, that came into place probably about 4 or 5 years ago, but when I was in Aurora, I think is when the first year that happened. Now they have increased that to 8%. So we could have 8% of our free and reduced population, and we could have classes for preschool and receive state funding, because prior to that you did not receive state funding for preschool. So that is an incentive also to really start building up your preschool program a little bit more. Let's see here, minimum teacher salary. So beginning in the 25-26 year, no longer is it a grant that they have given. It is every school will have beginning teacher salary at $40,000, and masters with 10 years of experience is $46,000. Now, if a school cannot meet that, then the state will pick that up. Let's see here. If you were to ask, well, are we already at the 46,000 as far as a master's 10? We are right now. This past year we paid 49,950. And then it also goes up, like in the 27-20, every year it goes up by $1,000 until the 27-28, where that minimum would be 48,000. Then after that, it goes up based on inflation. Okay. So that is wonderful for our teachers. Wonderful for our teachers. We are very fortunate that our school already, and a lot of the area schools already meet those requirements. But what it does do, as I mentioned just a little bit ago, now it almost puts everybody on an equal playing field, which once again is great for our teachers. But as far as retaining and keeping teachers, when you have some schools that are 4-day week and now they're paying the exact same amount that we're paying or pretty close to it, it may become an issue as far as keeping teachers. Let's see here. There is just a lot more in here. They talk about hard to staff schools and subject areas and potentially being able to differentiate pay is for if you have, for example, a science teacher that you could not fill that position one year. Well, you have to wait to the next year when if you're still struggling the second year to fill that position, you could potentially differentiate pay. That you could potentially offer that science teacher more money than what's on the salary schedule at that level to get that teacher in. So that is something you could do. It talks about career ladder. That is something that not for next year, but the year after, that I do believe that's something that we're going to need to look at as far as what we can do to help our teachers from a pay aspect, because now they have put it into law. It used to be that everything you received or you got paid for career ladder was after school hours. Now it is for things that you're doing in the school day. So that's a whole new ball game, and that we'll have to put a committee together and we'll have to look at that. But that is also built into this to fund. They did things with PSRS, with retirement. They have created a teacher and recruitment state scholarship program. So for the rural areas or for those hard to fill classes, that if you're a college student and you go to college for those last 2 years, you're eligible for a scholarship to be paid by the state, but then you have to work for a school that's rural or that's I don't want to say a title school, but it is a more poverty-driven school or a school that has a high need. You could work for that school and they'll forgive that scholarship. Let's see here. That's just the few of the top things that are in this bill. Once again, I do think it's a win for education. It is a win for our teachers by far. We're just going to have to work with how it affects us and what's it going to look like for our revenue streams in the future. That's it.
I have a question.
Yes. Probably can't answer it, but I'll help. I'll try.
Right. You said they did some things to PSRS. Does that affect, did they require more to be taken out or the school?
No,
to
I'm
match
sorry.
more?
No, I actually helped a little bit. So like, you as a retired teacher, you are only allowed to work 550 hours after retirement. So in the past, let's say that you accidentally worked 560 hours. PSRS would take that whole month of retirement away from you. Now they're only going to take those 10 hours away.
Oh, that's good. That
Yeah.
makes sense. And the governor had waived that for if they substitute taught or did something in education, right? That was this past year, I'm pretty sure.
It was, I don't know if it was substitute taught, but there was some waivers for COVID and some subboard teacher waivers. There's a whole bunch of things, not a whole bunch, but quite a few things that happened so that if you were a retired teacher, you could come back and it wouldn't be held against you for a few years.
Right, okay. I just wondered about PSRS because they take 14.5% out of educators'
They do,
checks.
yes.
So that's a lot, I mean, before you ever even see it. I didn't know
Yes.
if they had increased that again.
No, no, they didn't. No, it was actually a benefit that they don't,
Good.
because you've heard, and that's why you have to be very, very careful when you're talking to teachers about retiring and asking them if they're going to come back potentially to work for you. If you have those conversations with teachers, it could jeopardize their retirement. It doesn't affect you as a district, it affects them. And I know some people that worked on the board for PSRS, and they will take that retirement if you do not follow the rules. So we want to be very careful and always do what's best for that teacher, not necessarily for what's best for us at that point.
Thanks for watching that, and thanks for reporting on that to us. That was a great summary. Thank you.
Question / maybe just a statement for future reference. I guess the whole 4-day piece doesn't so much impact me, but I guess it'd be interesting to know, or what we're looking at, I guess, from what are the teachers, surveying the teachers and parents, because
Right.
how does that impact a parent, who has to now find a babysitter or whatever?
Sure.
But looking at both of those holistically versus just what we think.
Absolutely. And if that's ever a conversation that you as a board entertain, we would definitely do all of that.
I like the way the calendar was developed. Every month, there are at least a couple of Mondays off. So it's almost 4 days anyway.
It is, yeah.
All right, next on the agenda is the assistant superintendent reports. Is there any questions on those from anyone? Okay. All right, moving on, we have future dates. As Dr. Brownfield had already mentioned, tomorrow, isn't that tomorrow? There's the baccalaureate, which is at Ozark High School, and then we have May 16th is senior night, also there. May 17th is the graduation. We have our board work session, which is going to be on May 28th, and then we have our MSBA Summer Summit. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? All right, motion passes unanimously.
Amber, excuse me a second. I just wanted to clarify about the future dates. I wasn't fast enough with mine.
Oh, I'm going too fast. Go ahead.
No, you weren't going too fast at all. But I just wanted to clarify, the work session, that's open, right? That's going to be open for people to attend, or video, Zoom?
I think it will be, unless there's a portion that has to be closed session, which there may be, but I think,
We will have one. I'm
Okay.
sure we'll have
Posted in
some
it.
type of personnel.
I'm
I
sure
just
there'll be
wanted to-
both, but it'll be posted in advance so people can know.
Okay, thank you.
I think last time it was both too. Okay. All right. Next, we have approve open session board minutes. I'll entertain a motion on that. Those are board meeting minutes from the April 11th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the board minutes from April 11th.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? All right, passes unanimously. Moving on to new business. We need to set the tax levy date. So you want to set that for August 2nd, 22nd? Yes. All right. I guess you need a motion for that. Anyone? Christina made a motion. Do I have a second? All right. All in favor of setting that for August 22nd? Passes unanimously. Wow, we are rocking and rolling. Let's keep going. All right. Next, we have to approve the 2024-25 board meeting dates. Has everybody had a chance to look over those? It appears that we're meeting mostly on the third Thursday of the month, except for when there are extenuating circumstances. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a date for graduation next year?
Yes. That's why we moved the May, I'm
Is that the
looking there.
16th?
The
We
May
moved it
8th
up to May 8th. Yeah.
Yep. And so graduation is the 16th.
Okay.
We moved it away from
That
those.
Saturday?
It's a Friday. There's Saturday and Sunday aren't on here.
Oh, thank you.
Did I do something
Good. No, I just
No, it's
misread the
right.
calendar. Good, thank you.
And we will add work sessions. I did not put work sessions on here yet, but we will add work sessions as we get into August and we start looking at everybody's calendar.
Actually, looking at this, October is the 4th Thursday. Is that on purpose?
Oh, there, yes,
Is there-
I think it was an MSBA. MSBA changed something. I will double check that, but MSBA changed.
I figured that it was on purpose, but
Yes. Let me,
now looking at that.
without looking at my notes, I do know that MSBA is usually the first part of
Oh, I
November, and I
gotcha.
think it went to that week in
Okay,
October.
all right. Well, we can go ahead and approve this.
Yes.
All right. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the board calendar.
All right, anyone second? All in favor? Passes. All right. The next, we have an MOU, East Elementary Tower Project. And
I will make this fast, so hopefully we can be out of here by 8. If you want to ask a lot of questions, I'm okay with that too. Also, May 21st at 10:30 a.m., ribbon cutting for this building. You're all invited, please. Still not working? Okay. The May 21st at 10:30. So if you would go ahead and pull up Exhibit A real quick, please. So we have a current agreement with our 911 tower. We have it on East Elementary. And it's slid over, or just downloaded, there you go. Give them a second to pull it over. And as you look at it, you'll notice that it's on the north or south, I'll get it right, northeast corner of the property. It's barely visible. Many of you wouldn't even know it's there. Currently, 911 has a tower, they have a small building, and we actually have our repeater up there for our radios as well. We have an inter-agency agreement with them. We have, and this is noticeable when we did our active shooter at the high school many years ago, our drill, there's a lot of interoperability issues across the county. And one of the ways they're going to fix that is through updating the Mosier's radio. And this is the first step in doing that. They have applied for a grant. They've got the grant. It's millions and millions of dollars to do this. So the first step is to get these towers updated, and then they're going to start outfitting law enforcement. Then they're going to start working across the other 911 agencies, the other emergency responders. So if you go to the next picture, please. So what does that mean for us? Exhibit B. Exhibit B is going to show that it's just an expansion. So we already have an agreement. The blue is the expansion, and then the blue, anything that you see in blue is now going to be new. So they're going to expand the fenced-in area. They're going to put a larger generator, and they're going to put a larger enclosure to run all the equipment necessary to do it. So this is a great opportunity for our county, and it ties directly into us. When we do an active shooter drill, we have some law enforcement on one channel, our law enforcement's on 2 radios, 911, all these different people are trying to communicate at different frequencies on different equipment. So as this goes forward, this is really going to improve us, our district. So it's a great opportunity for us. We had our attorneys obviously look over the MOU, the IGA, it's an IGA, intergovernmental agreement. We took their recommendations. I also had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Griffin. He had a great idea. It is on our property, we have visitors. So we're going to make sure that we add a clause that during school hours, they must report into the office. Unless it's an actual emergency, then they obviously have the grace to come over if they can't communicate and they need to get that fixed. But for regular maintenance, we'll make sure that they're checking in. So I do appreciate that from them. So my recommendation would be to accept the IGA as presented with the addition of a statement that'll be drafted by our attorney about using, checking in with the office during school day office hours.
Yeah, and that was actually from from Mrs. Cohen, or Copen, I believe, as well, from the principal.
Yes.
Yeah, just to clarify, there's no cost to us.
We get a whopping $1 every year for 5 years with for 10 years with 2 5-year renewals. So yes, no additional cost to us. And we do get to keep our repeater up there, so that's good.
All right, I think this is thank you for presenting that. It sounds like a win for the entire county. Well, do we have a motion? Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? All right, this passes, and this president stuff is not that bad. We're rocking and rolling pretty well. Okay. And now I'll accept a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second, all in favor? And we're out of here. 8 o'clock.
On the dot.